So to start off the new session, we have the lovely Christine Mullaney. She is a public speaking coach, a TEDx trainer and speaker, no less, who will be telling us how to wield our wisdom. And yesterday at the networking, she said we were going to be Celtic warrior princesses or something, so I'm very much looking forward to that. I'm sure I have my costume somewhere. So she is an associate of the Irish Board of Speech and Drama and creator of the Neurocultural Communication Model. Alongside coaching and training, Christine runs the Connected Communication Portal and hosts the award-winning Connected Communication podcast. And she aims to have her first book published in 2025. Woo! Christine's mission is to help make the world more inclusively communicative, which sounds like a great mission to me. So come on up, Christine, and tell us all about it.
You do not need to have a costume to be a warrioress. We're already in our skin, that's all we need. Good afternoon, it's good to be here. It's afternoon now, yeah? Yeah, okay. Thank you for having me. The introduction is done, so I won't reintroduce myself. But I will ask you a question. When somebody compliments you, what do you say? Do you really? You don't go, oh, this old thing. Oh, I've had this for 10 years. No, not really. What if somebody asks for your opinion? What do you do then? Do you give it? All the time? Even if you might be wrong? Or men might laugh at you? Or they might tell you that you can't work for them anymore? Or you might be shunned by society? And we create it for ourselves, right? but we have to get there. And it's our life lessons and our life journeys that get us there. And often we learn to hold back that opinion, not to say what we think, not to disagree, not to be difficult, not to cause too many ripples, because sometimes the ripples create waves. And if we're the person who created the wave, maybe we put too much attention on ourselves. But we don't care about that when we're babies. This is my niece and my nephew exploring their world. They have no inhibition. Like my baby sister, when we were on holiday in Wexford one year. She was 2 years old. Have you been to Mass? Yeah, has everybody been to Mass in some form, or the church, or some sort of religious practice? Let me see. Or yeah, most people. So in Mass, you're in a building. There's a priest at the top, and there's reverence in the room. People are praying. There's connection in the crowd. And suddenly, a 2-year-old child tugs on her mommy's top and she says, "Mommy, I did the diarrhea. And it's running up my back." And it was running right up her back. And everybody giggled like you giggle, because she was 2. And we don't judge 2-year-olds for saying, "I just shat myself in public." Excuse my language. I'm Irish. We don't judge their lack of inhibition. They speak, and we listen, and we give a wee giggle when they speak. But as we grow up and we get older, we learn to be inhibited. We learn more than the 2 natural fears that we're born with. We learn, instead of to be afraid of loud noises or to just be afraid of maybe falling off something, we learn to be afraid of ourselves, afraid of our voices, and afraid of a red face in a crowd. We learn to inhibit. But we're born with wisdom. Each of us is born with an innate wisdom that is part of the composition of our lives. We've got the pages written already. And then, that's me on the right-hand side, reading a story to my niece. Then we hear stories throughout our lives. We have experiences. And we shape new wisdom for ourselves. And those stories and those experiences that we have and that we hear and that we learn, they become the tapestry of our lives. I don't do tapestry, but my nana used to do tapestry. And she used to have these beautiful coverings for the fire. And she'd sit for hours and stitch and stitch and stitch and create this incredibly intricate design that gave pleasure to every person when they saw it. And each one of us is exactly that, a tapestry. That when we smile at another person, or we share ourselves with another person, creates joy and gives life. But the tapestry of our lives is made up of all of our experiences. This is the tapestry of my life. You don't have time to read it all now. But what you have on the top is me by the time I was 38. I turned 42 this year. And all the jobs that I had by the time I was 38. I moved a little bit. I had 38 jobs in 23 companies on 5 different continents by the time I was 38 years of age. But when you look down here, then you can see my mum, my grandparents, my dad, and my stepmom. And that shows you the influence of them. Mum was a chef and an accountant, a speech and drama teacher. My dad is a manager of a shopping centre. All of the jobs that I had were all shaped by the people who came before me. That was my reality. The truths that I spoke and the thoughts that I thought were thoughts that I had been trained to think throughout my life. They were my reality. And then one day, I realized that there is no difference in the brain between imagination and reality. We can teach it. And I thought, I'm having a bit of a hard time at the minute. Life is tough. I'm telling myself terribly negative things, much like the speakers have spoken about this morning already. What if I can change this? What if I can tap into something inside me that allows me to do things differently in my life? And that's how we get to that place where we say no to the man or the woman who wants to stop us from moving forwards. Because men aren't the enemy, just like the mayor said this morning. We all need to work together. And I started to think, right, I'm going to teach myself. I'm going to teach myself how to connect with the shadowy characters inside my mind. Just like this little boy that I watched at 11 o'clock at night hosting a shadow puppet show in a place called Chengdu in China. It's where the pandas live. It's the famous part for the pandas. But I thought, I can connect with those shadowy characters and everything that's inside me. And I can start to puppet them. I can move those characters around. And I can take them off the stage and replace them. And create new characters in my life. New stories. I don't have to change the past ones. They make an impact now. But I can write new stories. Just like all of you did by moving to Spain, if you're living in Spain. You decided to write a new story. Or maybe just to write the next part. But how did I do it? And what did I learn along the way? That's what I want to leave you with today. Some actionable steps that you can take to walk through the compression of fear and speak whenever you feel compelled to. That blip that Kate mentioned, when you think, I want to change my prices. I can't do that. Or I want to say no to that client. I can't do that. Or I want to go for that business, but I'm not good enough for that. And you maybe don't say these things to yourselves. Maybe you are in the positivity already, but there always comes a time as we grow and we expand where a new sense of discomfort or compression comes. And I call this the spiral of suppression. Now, we know from neuroscience research that when we physically suppress ourselves, our emotions, our voices, we impact our bodies. So what happens is we have a suppressed experience or a suppressed reality. We push it down. Nah, this isn't happening. I'm in a happy marriage. He's not treating me that badly. My sister respects me. My best friend puts in as much effort as I put in. We suppress. We push it down. And then we get resentful and annoyed and upset. It's your fault that I didn't tell you that I'm not happy with you. And we damage our relationships. And as I think it was Kate had it in there as well, you have a lack of self-regulation, a lack of focus. You can't do the things you want to do and that you need to do. And then what happens? I'm going to make a loud noise now, just for anybody in the room who might jump with loud noises. You're all a problem. Get away from me. You explode. Maybe to your children, maybe to your husband, maybe to your partner, maybe to yourself in the mirror. I know I do. Oh, Christine, that was really stupid. Why'd you do that? You explode. Or it explodes on your body and you get sick, physically sick, and we see it and we feel it. And then because of that explosion, we feel guilty. There's a rebound. Oh, I shouldn't have said that. Oh, I've hurt them now. I have to say sorry. Or maybe we can't say sorry. And then what happens? We hide away. There's more suppression. So we have this spiral of continued suppression all the time. But we can change it. Over my life, I have made significant changes multiple times. I have suppressed in a bad relationship and put on loads of weight and not noticed that it was happening. And I have suppressed and been in narcissistic abuse. And that's not physical abuse, it's from emotional suppression. And had it explode all over my body physically, to the point where, truthfully, I thought, one day I was going to go. And I realized that I had to change myself. Something I was doing was repetitive, and something needed to change. So I left, first of all, which is a very important thing to do. And I learned to veto my brain. Have you heard of the veto principle of the brain? Right. Have you ever been in a bar or somewhere and you've seen something juicy? Not fruit or sweets of the maybe the same sex or the opposite sex across from you, and you thought, oh, I'm going to go for that. Have you had that experience? Yeah? And your body went like this? Right, lovely. So what happened there was, you got the brain signal on the left-hand side. I'm fired up here now, I'm interested in this. You got the desire to move, and this is happening all in the space of half a second. The desire to move comes, you begin to lift yourself off the chair, and you go, no, I better not do that. What if I embarrass myself? What if they're not interested in me? What if I walk across the bar and they walk away and everybody sees me? Have you had that happen? And you hold yourself back. That's a negative veto in your brain. You stopped yourself from doing something that might actually have been good for you, that maybe you would have got some pleasure from. That is a choice that we make in our brains. It's a very hard choice to make, particularly if you're coming from trauma. But you have 0.2 of a second to decide. Am I going to act, or am I going to stay? Am I going to think the negative thought, or am I going to change it? 0.2 of a second. So how do you learn to tap into that really fast? Well, you connect with the warrioress inside you. Yeah? Have we all got a warrioress inside us? Yeah, let me hear that a little bit stronger. Have we all got a warrioress inside us? Yeah. All right, this is Scahawk, and I talked about her on the podcast this week. I'm not going to introduce all of them to you. Scahawk is kind of a forgotten Celtic warrioress. She's Scottish. Rose is in the room. Rose representing Scotland. I met her in the bathroom. There you are. So Scahawk. Oh, have you heard of Cuchulainn? Some people have, some haven't. So I'm Irish, in case you haven't noticed. And in Ireland, we have a very powerful warrior, the greatest warrior in our mythology, named Cuchulainn. But Cuchulainn, who was Cuchulainn trained by, do you think? A man? A woman. A woman trained the most formidable warrior in Irish mythology. Scahawk trained him. She was fearsome, brave, formidable, a skilled visionary. The shadowy one, she was called. She was okay with her shadow side. In your notebook, have you got your notebooks out? Are you being good attendees? Doing diligently what you're required to do? It's all right. If you don't want to, don't worry about it. We won't force you. In your notebooks, you can see how to wield your wisdom. Okay? Excuse me. If you have a wee pen there, you don't need to answer question 1 yet, but you could just put a couple of notes about what you connect with in terms of Scothawk's adjectives there, her characteristics. Choose 1 or 2 of them for you and just make a note at the top of your page for me if you don't mind. What characteristics do you identify with Scothawk? I'll give you a few seconds for that. And if there's one that you connect with, but you don't really act it, or behave it, or feel it in yourself right now, write that one down. Maybe you don't connect with any of these, so let's try Maeve. Have you heard of Queen Maeve? Yeah? Yeah? I see the hands going here. Woo, lovely. So Queen Maeve is all about her cycles and her rhythms. Queen Maeve stopped one of the most famous battles in Irish mythology because, can anybody guess why she might have stopped the battle for 3 days that she was leading? Anybody guess why she might have stopped it? She might have done. Indeed she did. She got her period and she was like, lads, this needs to stop for a few days. I need a break. Yeah? So, she was womanly. She was powerful. She was strong. She was sexy. She had a fair few lovers. She kept the husband, but she had a fair few lovers as well. And she was purposeful. Do the same thing, please, for Maeve. What do you identify with? What do you identify with that you don't embody now, but that you want to embody? Pick your adjective. Give you about 13 seconds. And maybe you're a bit like me and you're not as womanly as Maeve might have been. Maybe you're a bit of a bold one. I should say, not bold, bowled. When we're bold, there might be a negativity to it, but when we're bowled, there's a cheekiness to it. We take risks, but not stupid risks. Grania Whale is the final warrioress that we're going to look at, who was bowled. Grania was a female pirate. One of the most powerful female pirates on the seas. We got many people from England in here. Guess what she did? She brought a knife into your royal courts to meet your queen. I'm allowed to say that. I'm Irish. It's a good relationship now. She was smart. She cut off all her hair. She got on her father's ship. She was like, Dad, I've no hair. I can't bring bad luck to the ship. Let me sail. She was unwavering in her loyalty to her brothers, to her clans, and to her land and to her country. In fact, apparently, still in Howth, which is a lovely seaside village in Dublin, they set a place for her at the table because once they closed their doors when her ship was coming, and she taught them that they should never do that again. So write your adjectives for Grania. What do you connect with? What do you not connect with yet, but that you want to connect with in the future? And on question 1 in the notebook, write which warrioress you identify with most. Maybe all 3 of them. Did I hear someone say all 3 of them? Did you say that? I love it. Absolutely wonderful. Because we don't have to be one. We can step into the characteristics of any of the ancients that come before us. And I did it last week, sitting on the roof of my building, under severe pressure, giving out to my brain. I sat down, I closed my eyes, and I said, Scothawk, I need to connect with something inside you. so I can do what I need to do this week. And did I do it? What do you think? Of course I did. Tap into an inner warrioress, you're naturally going to do it. When we do this, what we do is we step from the spiral of suppression into the coil of courage. Think about it like this. You feel that compression of fear, that blip. I don't want to do it, I'm scared. Yeah, but I need to have courage here. Core, I need to have heart. You say, this is fear, or this is anger, or this is frustration or annoyance, or whatever adjective it is. And Michelle has beautiful adjectives on the front of the notebook for you today. You just label it. All right, it's fear. I've been scared before. Did I get over it? Yeah. So we've acknowledged it. Now, I need to act. So I want to look at this fear differently. How do I connect in with the ancients, with the composition of my life before me, and act? What can I tell myself that will flip my mind and help me to dare to think different thoughts? And then you express whatever it is you need to do. Express healthily your emotion to another person. Express your need on the wall here or your want. And then what happens after that? Oh, I did it. I feel really good about myself. We get a dopamine kick. And what happens when we do something that makes us happy? Do we want to do it again, or are you afraid of it? Do it again. Rinse and repeat. Just like your underwear in the evening times. I want to do this and help women to understand that we're all a composition. Not just women, men too. We're a composition of our ancestors that came before us, but we're also a composition of blank pages left to complete. And every step and every action and every moment, we write something on those pages. Every time we think, we write on those pages too. If you are somebody who is rewriting parts of your composition or writing new parts, and you want to understand the neuroscience of confidence and courage, and how to step into your courage every time you feel that blip, I have an invitation for you. Some of you down there have cards. Some of the bags have them. Some of the ladies that are sitting in the seats have them. It has a QR code on it. I am going to host at bang on equinox. 10:01 on the 20th of March is equinox. A Wield Your Wisdom workshop. And I asked a friend of mine, how do you feel when you read this from women with opinions they don't share yet? And she said it feels a bit like it might be people who are in abuse or who've experienced abuse. And in a way it is, because that's what I experienced. But this is for any of you who shut yourselves up in the moments when it's important to speak. Or any women that you know who could do with it. Completely free at Equinox. So that we can write a composition together instead of separately. Thank you for listening.
Thank you so much. That was such a great presentation. You can tell you're a TEDx speaker. Awesome.
Here you go.
Thank you so much.